Good morning. Welcome back to Cape Cod Organic Farm, Barnstable County Beekeepers Apiary. Today we're going to demonstrate uh, some integrated pest management controls, and one of the key things to that is monitoring varroa mites. So we're going to open our hive up and test for varroa mites. We're going to be using both the alcohol wash method and sugar shake method. And so we'll be collecting 2 samples of bees. And let's get into that right now. And I can see bees at the top of the inner cover, which is a good sign. Given that it's a foggy day, the bees are nice and calm. We're going to use a minimal amount of smoke and avoid popping things by keeping a hand on the inner cover and prying it up. Now, it popped a little bit, but that wasn't too bad a reaction. Okay. All right. Since we're really want to get into the brood box, what I'm going to do is take the top box off in its entirety. Top boxes. Let's keep it nice and calm. And since it is robbing season, it's the middle of July, we want to keep something underneath the hive as well, so the bees don't come up underneath. So we'll work quickly, but hopefully quietly, keep the bees calm. So far, they've been great. And now we have a queen excluder, which I'm going to take off. Okay. And now we're in the brood nest. So what I'd like to do is find a frame without the queen on it and take a couple of samples, one for our sugar shake and one for the alcohol wash. So always take out the second frame first. It's usually not too cemented down. I see a good bee population. That is great. It's what you want to see this time of year in July. Let's set this aside. Always checking for the queen. And always, if you can, look forward to the next frame to see if she's on there. Great, great, great laying pattern here. That's always gratifying to see. So good bee population, good laying pattern, but I want to move right along. I'm going to give myself a little bit of extra room. So what we're looking for is a frame with a little bit of open brood so that we know we're going in and taking samples for nurse bees. This is a resource frame. I'm going to put that back. And by resource, I mean it's got either nectar or pollen on it. Now here it would be a great frame to take a sample from, because I'm seeing both open brood and closed brood on it, so it's a good mix. There should be a good amount of nurse bees on here, and I'm just very carefully looking for a queen. I believe this one is marked with a blue dot, but just in case, we do want to be careful. And there's a good population on here, so chances are I'll get at least one good sample out of it, if not two. So what I'm going to do is use a white dish pan and go in and take a sample. I'll put this back for a second, just open up my sampling jar. Have everything ready to go. So I've already put alcohol in this particular sample jar. And we've got our powdered sugar, which I'd put to a sieve last night, so it's nice and fine. So we're ready to go on those two. So have my sampling cup. And again, we want to go for 2 samples, not just the one. Here we go. Again, checking for the queen, and I've got another opportunity once the bees are in here. Now the older foragers should fly home. The young work nurse bees should stay in one place. And that is indeed what's happening. Again, checking for the queen. This gives me one last chance to see her off of a frame. Having not seen her, I'm going to take one sample and put it in my alcohol wash jar. And I'm going to take another sample. I think there's still enough bees here. Yep, another half cup. Put them in my sugar shake jar and close that up. Now the remaining bees, I'm just going to put right back in the hive. And we're done with that for the time being. So there's a couple things you have to do here. One is it takes time to do a sugar shake, so I'm going to do that right away. They want you to shake them up for 1 minute. I've just got this screen on here, no solid top. And this can be a tough thing to do on a humid day. That is a challenge with the sugar shake method. You really want to get the bees coated. Right. And just give myself an aid. I'm going to switch tops for a second. I don't want to suffocate the bees, but it's going to take a little bit to get them coated in humid weather. Shake back down. And this is why they call it the sugar shake. That's better. Now I can see everything in there is coated with white. Give it roughly a moment, and timing is crucial on this technique. You really do have to shake it for a minute, and then you're supposed to let it sit for 4 or 5 minutes. Now the reason for the sit time is the bee is going to heat up in here, and the sugar is going to adhere to them better, and you get better sample results. So just so I don't suffocate them, I'm going to change covers again and set that aside and turn my attention to the alcohol wash. Now this still takes a moment. And you're supposed to swirl them around for a minute, just like that. Nothing violent. You don't have to shake it. Not quite as crazy as the sugar shake. And you are sacrificing the bees in alcohol wash. But if I was a bear coming in and attacking a hive, these bees would gladly come out and sting me, which would also result in their demise. So it's just something, I'd rather sacrifice 300 bees than lose tens of thousands of bees in a colony come November or February when varroa really takes its toll and colonies start to pass away. All right, so I'm going to set that aside. Now, there's absolutely no reason why, and we advocate this, you can't stop putting things together. You've got your samples. You want to keep your bees calm and yourself calm. So I'm going to take these, now that I know I've got enough bees in my samples, I'm going to take these and put them back roughly in the same order. And the bees can go on continuing with their day, and we're going to go look for some results. So if you bear with me 1 minute, we can do that. Put the queen excluder back on. The top super on. Now this is my personal preference. I usually do varroa mite sampling by itself. I don't go in and try to do much other than see, yeah, I've got a good population of bees and make note if there's brood, but you see that normally. So usually I do it as a standalone activity, and again, that's just strictly personal preference. I feel confident, I'm focused on what I'm doing, and well, That's interesting. The bottom board stuck. I'm sorry, the inner cover stuck to the bottom of the, there we go. You never know what's going to happen in a bee yard. Up, and let's take that off. Shake these off so they don't get squished. All right, now the bees are all good, ready to go back to normal activities. And hopefully that was with a minimal disruption for me. Now let's take a look at the results. So one thing I can do, and it's nice about these commercial jars, this one happens to have a gasket on it so it doesn't leak alcohol, is you can take out the strainer and then actually look up into the sample. Now there's not a lot of sun out today, so this is kind of difficult. Initially, I'm not seeing any mites. All right, now if you go by the instructions on honeybeehealthcoalition.org, you're gonna see that they advocate doing this twice. I'm gonna set this aside for a minute and recheck again later. And let's take a look at our powdered sugar results. And the bees are still moving around and they're doing well. And what I'm going to do is I've got the mesh top on. I'm simply going to shake this like it's a salt shaker and get as much of the powder as I can out, hopefully along with any varroa mites that are hitching a ride on the bees. Have to be patient. And I got to think I've got a good sample there. We'll see. So what I'm taking is just plain water, and I'm going to spray the sugar water. Set these aside. There we go. And I want to mist the sugar enough to, turn it translucent, wet it down, get into solution, and then I'm going to check for the presence of any varroa mites. And what I'm looking for is a red oval, probably about the size of a period on a written page. So they're small, but they do show up because of their red color. They're very distinctive. It's easy to pick it out from little bits of wax because of that distinct oval shape with a red color. So they ought to show up really good against the white plate. So nothing so far. And again, according to honeybeehealthcoalition.org, you're supposed to do each test twice if you can now. We had no bees in the first sample. I'm going to add just a little bit more alcohol for effect. And it's isopropyl alcohol, available at your local drugstore or a big box store. Cover that up. And we're going to give them another swirl and just check again. And I'm going to do a final check by dumping the alcohol without the bees into my little wash basin there to give me, again, a nice white bright surface to check against. All right, I'm approximating a minute there. I'm going to pull these stranded with the bees out. Take another check. Again, I don't see any mites yet, but what I'm going to do, just to be sure, and I wash this out so it's nice and bright, pour the alcohol into the pan, and just take my time and do another look. And again, I'm looking for a red oval, and unfortunately, I don't see any. They really would show up against it. The pan, I'm seeing bits of wax, and that's about it. So was scoring 0, which is good for the health of the hive. That's fine. We can toss those bees in compost later on. Clear this. And then what you're supposed to do is take 1 more tablespoon of powdered sugar. And coat them again. Let it go through the screening. Give them another swirl. And the process is really the same. You're just repeating the same. I'm going to take and shake it like a salt shaker on my plate. And see if we get any varroa. And we might have gotten lucky in that we found one to show you today. We'll see. The bees at this point, you're done with them. So I'm going to let them go and see that still out and alive and kicking. Well, coated with the powdered sugar, of course. All right, so they'll go back in the hive, live to forage another day. And at this point, I want to take a spray bottle again and wet down the powdered sugar. It should dissolve it, and we should be able to see varroa. And indeed, I did get one. So again, that's the recommendation of the Honeybee Health Coalition, is to do the test twice. And this is probably why, because you get a little bit better sampling, a little bit more reliable sampling. So I'm bringing this over to you here now. And if you can see in the bottom third of the plate, right about there, there is a varroa mite floating around in the solution. And that's what we're looking for. So being July, this is a period of time when bees are gearing down for winter. They're in a decline, and 1 is acceptable at this point. In fact, in the later period of the year, 2% is effectual. So that would be 300 bees that we sampled. We could get 6, and then it would call for treatment. With 1, this hive is good. We'll leave it be. And I want to thank you all for listening to the video. Thank you.